Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back again to the Star Ladder I-League Invitational Season 3. We're going to be taking a look at game number 3 here. It's Gambit Esports facing off against Spartak Esports. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by Aosin Doda. I forgot to mute my microphone for him in between casts, so he might have heard me making weird noises or something. How you doing, man?
Radiant team.
That's whatever. Weird noises, whatever. No problem. I was just wondering how Misha feels about being the Misha apparition. Like, this guy just plays nothing but EA.
I mean, if you win, right? That's the way to be. So it's cool. I guess for me, it feels like it's the type of hero that if you get really comfortable with it, there's a couple little fun things you can do. You know, whether or not you like throw it on your ice vortex to get that extra movement speed, all that type of stuff.
Dire team ban.
I guess everybody does that though.
It's one thing to play a hero over and over again and win, but I mean, at what point do you stop and play something else? Or I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm not like, I'm not in their shoes, so it's hard for me to say.
10 seconds remaining.
I wouldn't be happy to play if I was playing Ancient Apparition 3 times in a row.
Is this
probably
why
even
Zephyr
more
really broke up?
Probably.
Yeah.
I couldn't play the same hero more than like once or twice.
Well, it's going to be paired together this time with the Faceless Void. So one of the best combos that you can have as far as setting up a Ice Blast. And then on the other side, Gambit, they're going to go back to the Nyx Assassin and also take themselves a Disruptor this time around. So more what feels like is similar to game number 1 as far as the draft so far.
Yeah, I always like the Faceless Void pickup early on, simply because it's kind of hard for people to guess like where you're actually going to take it. But I think the very surprising thing is that Earthshaker has been completely ignored so far.
Yeah, that's very different. Not what I would have expected at all.
10 seconds remaining.
I guess that it's... I mean, that's the thing, is like for Faceless Void, he tends to sometimes be played in the off-lane role. I think we have been seeing a little bit more Position 1 Void recently, but
Radiant team.
I don't know, I guess it's sort of questionable where we're going to end up seeing this guy. It might take over that role of what Earthshaker has been throughout the series, at least so far.
Yeah, definitely. And there is still the option of a Lich as well. A Lich has not been touched this game. I don't think either of these teams like running the Lich, though. I don't think they like to play that passively in terms of laning. Like the supports seem to like to move around, or at least the roaming forward supports like to move around. Misha, on the Ancient Apparitions, just pretty much always in the safe lane.
Yeah, and he it sort of feels like if you run a Lich and an AA, then you're kind of taking the same style of hero without a stun. And sure, Chain Frost is nice to throw into a Chronosphere, but if all of your initiation is dependent upon a Chronosphere, it's also a little sketchy. But Earthshaker is now going to be taken by Gambit. Second phase.
10 seconds remaining.
What is a good way to deal with Earthshaker?
5 seconds remaining.
In the past, it's an option, but not exactly the greatest when it comes to, having a Void on your team.
Right.
Once the Chrono goes down, I mean, what can you really do, right? You can potentially ignore it entirely, go for the back line, something along those lines. Might also be a good idea, but
10 seconds.
Not sure if they like running Clockwork support.
5 seconds.
Might not be the most fun in the world for them. The Mirana taken now as well. This was, I think we saw BZZ playing either this hero. I think it was this hero against Alina mid, and they got destroyed if I'm not mistaken. But I think BZZ likes this hero.
No. That was FN playing the Mirana against the BZZ.
That's what it was.
Annihilated him.
All right, so it's BZZ wanting to do his best FN impression then. Possibly.
Or I'm pretty sure Yoku's playing it.
Yeah, that's a good call. I was just about to say that. I think it seems like it's more fits with what Yoku wants to do. That's kind of the interesting thing about Spartak. They like play damage dealers out of the offlane for Yoku.
Radiant team ban.
Admiral Konka.
Whoa.
So Gambit going to be taking a page out of Spartak Esports strategy book.
God, you know what's so value here?
What is that?
Pudge.
10 seconds remaining.
For Gambit.
Yeah, I can see that. You can save people from the
seconds
X, you can save people from the Chrono, but unfortunately, there are no slots for a Pudge now.
What are you talking about, man? I see a nice little spot right there in the mid.
That sounds like the most awful pick right now. You're gonna have 4 melee heroes against a Chrono and a Kunkka and an AA. They need something that can back up an Ursa in the event that he gets Chronoed. Yep. Maybe a sniper
Pudge.
game. Definitely not a Pudge.
Maybe a Pudge to pull him out of the Chrono. Look, if there's anybody that's going to be doing it, it's going to be a guy named Coolman. That is for sure. You don't like it?
No, I think it would be funny.
Yeah.
If I was trying to win the game, then I'd hate it. But as a spectator, sure, why not? Bring it on.
I mean, so you're saying that somebody else to back him up inside the Chronosphere, meaning somebody who can throw damage inside of it to make Spartak think twice about, like...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why Sniper was on my mind.
The OD band's really good, too.
Yeah, a potential save. I think Death Prophet might be
10 seconds
an option to consider as well.
About like a Naga Siren out of the mid. Is that too weird?
Yeah, I don't really like that.
Okay. You're not a fan of these saves out of the Chronos. Or maybe you're just not a fan of bad heroes.
Well, I'm a fan of a lot of... I'm a fan of like every hero, really, except for Lich, but... I just don't think it's going to work out for them if they end up with a Naga. It kind of like...
10 seconds remaining.
The thing is, like, if you pick a Naga here, it makes it so that you're gonna have your other team, the rest of your team fighting for a Naga to farm, where she might not even be able to carry the game for you.
Right.
Which means, like, in that case, you might as well go back to something like an anti-mage, right? I mean, it's banned out here, but you go for something along the lines of that, where you can scale into the ultra late game and carry the game.
To me, it's very, like, it feels as if Gambit doesn't do something really weird here, they're pretty far behind in the draft. That's how it feels like to me. I think this Kunkka pick is going to cause a lot of issues for them.
I think so far they're okay. I wouldn't underestimate the Nyx, Earthshaker, and Disruptor. Like, this is a very strong disable lineup they have here.
Okay.
So... you can't just like look at the Chronosphere as a whole and say like, oh, they're gonna struggle, right? You can always be like, okay, this Nyx Assassin is gonna find the Void, stun him. Here comes Earthshaker. Okay, Void is dead, and then what then, right? There's no Chronosphere anymore.
So maybe Vision heroes then are what you want. Maybe something. I mean, taking a Bat Rider into a Nyx Assassin sounds really bad, but
maybe they just make it an offlane Void at this point in mid Mirana. If not that, then they need a mid lane hero that can...
Team pick.
Okay, yeah, so they're gonna just mid Mirana carry Void. So they have something other than a Chronosphere to actually like win them the team fight.
Yeah, they have a Black Hole and a Chronosphere. Along with Kunkka stuff, this is like the biggest team fight lineup ever.
Remaining.
And they've got multiple different ways to initiate.
5 seconds remaining.
Like... I feel like Gambit need to go for some type of a split pushy hero or some. I don't know. What do they need? Because I have no idea.
I'm a fan of Silencer.
Okay.
I'd like to see a carry Silencer. It's kind of risky, but I think it's like a choice that will work.
All right. You said the sniper earlier. You talked about that. I mean, do you think that that's enough? Like.
Yeah, I think it's capable of winning them the game.
All right, to be a contrarian, I've got to say I have no faith at all in this Gambit lineup. I really feel like I feel like there's so much team fight here that even if you like whiff a Chronosphere and completely mess up your X combo, they can still win the team fight at that point. And with the meta being all about fighting, I would be terrified to play against this lineup.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely fair. If I didn't see like which teams were playing and I just looked at the heroes as a whole, I would probably agree with you. But looking at how the last game went, the last 2 games went, I think that
10 seconds remaining.
they are capable of pulling it off with this lineup. I definitely favor the Spartak lineup though, but the sniper pick should be capable of carrying this game.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see if the sniper is going to be enough. Cool man with the coolest name in town. It's cooler than a polar bear's toenails. Just going to go over there and peep, peep, meep in all people. So, as far as early laning stage stuff goes, is where I think paused inside the game, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. How do you see the lanes working out? Anything really stick out to you as a natural mismatch? Ursa is always hard to lane against. How does Enigma scale up against an Ursa with the disruptor?
I think he should be fine. Enigma is actually pretty strong in lane as long as you know how to control your Eidolons and not feed them away. Because as long as you have your Eidolons next to you, it's pretty difficult to go on an Enigma.
Yeah.
Prepare for battle.
Got the classic head shake. Cheshire Cat again going to run into the Ancient Apparition. There is a spotted out beginning ward. And I feel like that's happened a couple of times so far this game. But whether or not they'll actually end up being able to get the D ward or not is another question. Chuvash might head up there to the north to do it.
So Cheshire Cat on the Earthshaker is actually, like, depending on how they lane it up top, Void and AA might actually have some issue against the Earthshaker. I think Earthshaker is one of the better offlaners to deal with the Void, depending on how he skills his heroes or his skills.
Yeah.
30 seconds to battle.
Well, they are going to be able to get a D ward here. They won't get the D ward, it looks like, of the hard camp, although there is a ping out from Ancient Apparition, and it looks like he is also going to be bringing the sentry, so they know everything. They are on top of it. They are pinging exactly where the ward is. Oh no.
So I think the one thing that you mentioned earlier is that this combo that's coming out of Spartak is pretty insane, right? There's a Chrono, there's a Black Hole, there's a boat, AA Blast. It's just like way too much to handle, right? If you're out of position, your whole team is just annihilated. So there is always that potential that Gambit just go for pickoffs, like you said. And looking at their heroes, apart from the sniper just keeps farming, and the other 4 heroes are more than capable of just making these pickoffs happen.
Yeah. Torrent not going to catch any of the heroes. Chuvash a little bit off the mark with that one, and in the meantime, Coolman is just going to plink him in the head.
Proccing so many times.
Yeah. The real problem here that we've seen with Spartak's lineup is that Chuvash is not taunting, and that needs to happen, I think. Arrow not going to get there, but that would have been a kill.
No gold for you.
But it's all good. All right, he's completely out of mana. He can't even arrow anymore.
All right. Well, we'll keep our eye on that lane, see if anything else happens. I'll sort of peek around the other ones and see what's going on here. Aloha Dance so far able to get a decent amount. Needs to be sure that he doesn't end up getting any of his Eidolons taken by the Ursa. But besides that, he should be pretty fine, while BZZ can keep on trying to CS the best of his ability in this lane.
Oh no, Eidolons. They're all dead.
Did he get him? Oh, hey.
He killed all 3 of them. Feels bad.
He is playing pretty aggressive here onto Yoku. Making this guy think twice before he steps too far forward. 2-minute mark.
Oh,
Cheshire
mid-lane.
Cat. Oh my goodness. Chuvash able to get him? Really? Cool, man? There it is. There's the taunt. I knew it was coming.
Just a blind torrent into an arrow. A little too much damage for the sniper to deal with.
Oh. Cheshire Cat draws aggro from these creeps, and he is going to have to back out, I think. Oh, nice play there. Blocking it off with the fissure, able to get himself the rune. The cold feet proc means that he's going to have to run away, but that's going to be 2 runes for him. And in the meantime, I heard an X. I guess that was just used there to make sure they could go check the other rune.
so far. Things are looking pretty good for Spartak, leading by a little bit. Thanks to this mid lane.
Yeah.
Chuvash doing a great job on the Kunkka, just hitting blind torrents, doesn't even need the X, but once he gets levels in the X, then it's pretty scary for Kuman, because if there's no one there to help him and he gets the torrent arrow, it's a kill every time.
Oh, and he got the X here onto Bignum before he ended up getting caught. So that's going to be another kill. And this Kunkka is going to continue to cause some issues throughout this game, I would imagine. But top lane, Cheshire Cat, he has only 1 CS so far. Comparison to the 10 from the Enigma. Level 4 versus level 2. Not looking great.
Yeah, it's always difficult when there's a support in the lane. I think if it's like 1v1, it's a different story. It's actually pretty easy for the Earthshaker to trade farm, because you'll have Enchant Totem and Aftershock, and then it's just difficult for the Arc Ward, or sorry, not Arc, but the Void to stop you from farming, because you'll always stun him when you go for the last hit.
Right. Well, and then you can see also right here that like it's a lot of emphasis placed onto, you know, keeping the BZZ from getting out of hand, since the Kunkka keeps on roaming into here as well. They do have Cheshire Cat that's going to check this bounty rune. He'll be able to get it. And there is an Invis top. This might be a nice setup for somebody. The X, it has a very long duration. They're going to be able to go for the Torrent afterwards. The connection with the arrow. That was enough to stun, though, onto BZZ. So they weren't able to get the follow-up.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mirana just doesn't have the mana to make it there, or do the damage, rather, and not having boots, just slowly walking back.
Okay.
Nyx Assassin is definitely the perfect bodyguard for this combo, though. You can soak it up multiple times, you know, avoid a lot of the damage with the Spike Carapace, and then just regen it up with your natural regen.
Yeah. Oh, and he also ends up going for the mana burn and just spamming that against the Mirana, as well as the Kunkka, whenever they get an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Ursa now 5 minutes in. He's leading the CS with Void at 34 and 8. Mid lane, keep on getting plinked away. Kunkka here does have level 3, but hasn't committed it yet towards any skill build. Could be waiting to see what he wants to go for. Brings out another clarity. They could be looking for an opening here, since Nyx Assassin is away on the other side of the map. There's an Invis Mirana being scouted out by the sniper. Torrent gonna connect, but they don't go for the kill.
Yeah, there's a sentry off to the side, so they can see BZZ standing there.
So easy little combo there. They're gonna get another little mana burn. Able to sidestep away from the Torrent as well. And this very passive laning phase is just gonna continue here.
Yeah, not much is gonna be going on. It's kind of difficult to set up kills anywhere apart from the Mirana Kunkka lane. Other than that, you know. Oh, bottom lane. Not gonna connect.
They have Black Hole. Need to be at least a little bit careful, though he doesn't have enough mana. Still 50 away. They're coming in with Bignum as well, and Yoku wisely going to back out before things get a little bit too scary.
Top tower is under attack.
Enigma is not, you know, super squishy, and he's under the tower as well. They're just afraid that there is a potential turnaround with Void TPing in, and then they all get chrono.
Regeneration.
Lisha only level 3 or so, about to hit level 4. Not going to see that 6 for quite some time. Same with Kunkka.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He's going to go for the pulls constantly, stacking up the camps as well. Sniper still sort of struggling against this Mirana Kunkka combo at 25 and 12 versus the 38 and 12. That's the greatest.
So annoying.
They also forced out the sentry, which missed there. They had it underneath the tower instead. Well, Still only 2 kills. Ursa trying to deal some damage to the tower. Do you think that we might see a rotation from Yoku to try and find a kill with a black hole, or is it kind of just going to be him left alone and trying to farm up to get towards the Tandem Midas first?
I think he just keeps farming. Play a very heavy farming or Enigma game here, and just rush your Midas as fast as you can. I think Spartak are perfectly happy with turning this into a farming game. You just wait for your AA to hit level 6 before you make any moves.
Oh, and they're picking up these bounty runes around the map as well. Illusion rune on the Nyx is going to push in the creep wave.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And with that,
Radiant's top tower is under
back to
attack.
farming. The farm wars will continue.
Yeah. I think that's just kind of how these lanes will play out. And both of these lineups, Spartak not so much. I think like Spartak, they really need their ults before they want to take these fights, and now they're just kind of waiting on the supports, right? Whereas Gambit, they have a very offensive lineup, but they need their core items first. So both of these teams is going to start making their way towards those the tools they need to engage. Until then, both sides not going to do too much. Just play passively.
Yeah, and I really like that they are giving the off lane here to Kunkka. He's going to be up towards his 6 soon, as well as the Ancient Apparition, who's about halfway to 4, constantly pulling in this lane as well. So it does allow them to get towards that, and when 6s are online, if they don't do stuff at that point, that's where I'd start to be pretty worried.
Well, Earthshaker is level 6. Has the Blink Dagger queued up. Although I don't think that will be the case. I think he'll buy Soul Ring Tranquils at least. It's very hard to farm up an Earthshaker if you don't have any mana regen. You can't expect to be allowed to sit in a lane and right-click creep.
Hey, look at this guy over here. The Ursa making the early movement over towards Roshan. Do they have an inkling that this is happening? That's the real question. It looks like Baran is going to go check down the bottom side, and so this is probably just going to end up being a pretty quick and easy one as Nyx mows over. He's going to get some of this experience as well. So that will get him up almost halfway to level 6. And a nice pickup there for the Radiant.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Mask of Madness Ursa. Glad to see he does this too.
Radiant
Is
structures
this a Steven special? Do you like it?
Radiant's bottom
I built it the other day
tower is
and
under attack.
I got flamed for it. They were like, why does my Ursa have a Mask of Madness? And I gave him the question mark.
Nice.
And then we won.
The classic. Afterwards, did you say, like, something flamey?
No, I just gave him a question mark.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I think it's a good item, but I wasn't very good at using it. I felt like I could have done better if I just avoided it altogether.
Alright.
But I do like the item, for sure.
On Ursa specifically as well?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so tier 1 tower down in the bottom lane. Yoku able to get that one. Meanwhile, it's going to be the Ursa taking the top tier 1 tower. And if they want to now, there's an opportunity. They don't quite have the boat, but they do have the Ancient Apparition. Oh wait, they don't have the tome with them. Oh, they definitely should have dropped the tome there and let the Kunkka bring it into the Ancient Apparition.
Oh, super slow siege. There is the Midas on the courier as well. A lot of important items. No, go back courier. Get that Midas recipe. Right, there you go.
Nice.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
All right, movement down towards the bottom. Arc, he is going to be glimpsed, and Static Storm down. They're able to get it before the Static Storm is there. So they take down one, maybe going to be able to get another. Yeah, that would have been tragic if they wouldn't have been able to. And now they can walk forward, chase down Bignum. A bit of damage. Black Hole ready. They're walking forward. Just drop it down onto the Nyx and the Ursa. Can they kill him off, though? That's the secondary question that comes in. It looks like they're just going to have to back out. But Black Hole, Chronosphere used, and it only ends up killing the Nyx and the Disruptor.
Good enough.
Yeah.
think it's worth it. They didn't want to waste, or they didn't want to go for the Ursa because he has the Aegis. So I think they don't really have any intentions of fighting him again anyway. So they might as well just leave him alone. Don't have to commit anymore or risk anything, and then they just wait out the Aegis because they need the Black Hole and the Chrono anyways.
Another thing that's kind of important as well is that you do have Kunkka with level 6 and Ancient Apparition. So even though they use 2 big ultimates, these 2 heroes, the 2 supports, can kill, I think, just about anybody on the map, right? Maybe not the Ursa?
Not the Ursa. I think they'll still have a hard time killing off someone like Earthshaker. I think he's probably tanky enough. And same with the Nyx Assassin. I think Nyx Assassin will have a moment of time where he can care of his stun and run away. Maybe.
So I'm like very wrong.
I wouldn't say very wrong. It's definitely like very strong potential. Oh, Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
Find the Kunkka.
Impale goes through. The boat is going to connect. The Ace Blast. Oh, it's going to end up getting there. They jump forward and have found themselves another. The Gankies turn to the Gankers. And looks like Earthshaker will live through that one. Just barely. 5-0. Spartak on a roll. Now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Surprised he didn't taunt.
Probably forgot.
Enigma, Black Hole, still a little ways away from being off cooldown also.
They're playing very, very cautiously now, which is something they need to do, I think, considering how they played last game. Don't want to risk anything. They're playing like they should have won this series.
Yeah.
2-0. That's what they're playing like.
Yeah. Look at this now. Bignum going to go in and see if they can find somebody. Gambit, it feels like they keep on trying to get stuff done, and like with these movements, the blink reveal and the Earthshaker, I thought he was just going to Echo Slam the Kunkka, but at the end of the day, they are all moving down towards bottom area. They have Moonlight Shadow available, and it looks like they're going to try and take use of it. Bignum walking forward. Drop down Midnight Pulse. Cheshire Cat. He might end up getting found here, and yes, they are going to find him. He doesn't manage to get out of there, but still gets caught. There's the Chrono on to 2. Static Storm is down as well, but not sure if it's going to end up being enough. He does have Time Walk away as well, and now they've caught onto the Ursa. He is frozen, never going anywhere. Another 2 dead. Gambit just cannot get anything going right.
Oh, and the super value shrine. It's go time again.
Yeah.
Shrine Gaming. Oh, let's see if this arrow connects. Not gonna connect.
I did make always want to fly pause for a second, and I don't want to be here. Yeah, this is. I think that they could probably, like, if they see somebody X torrent, I don't even know really if they need to stop for anything. Chuvash does have a smoke.
Radiant are scanning.
But it looks like the Kunkka's probably going to back out of here now. He has a TP available. An Enigma Blink.
It's a big pickup. Black Hole is back up now. They are more than willing to fight, especially since the Aegis has been gone.
This is really scary.
Yeah, this smoke is very risky. It's only going to be for an AA, and they can easily turn this around. Oh, sorry, not AA, but Autumn.
All right.
Autumn does go down.
Any TPs? None yet.
Bottom tower is
all right, they end up getting away with that one. That's the perfect play. It's exactly how they have to do it. Although they might end up losing the sniper down bottom. They have X, they have Torrent, they have everything. Black Hole as well. Waiting for him to get a little bit further forward. Nope, they're just going to drop it right on top of them. Midnight Pulse as well. There's the boat down. And everybody runs away. Spike Carapace, nice play. Chuvash, blink out of there. Fine for the moment. Yoku going to be able to TP out. They lose the Kunkka.
The seas are your domain, Kunkka.
Decent response. They still lose the sniper though, which I think is something that they need to be careful of. I think Gambit is very, very reliant on this sniper winning them the game. If the sniper doesn't have a good game, I don't really see how they can win this game. I think that Ursa is going to be having a very difficult time trying to kill people on his own.
Yeah. I mean, particularly once you get into sort of the more mobility items too, like maybe a Hurricane Pike or something on the Mirana. Once 25s come around for Faceless Void, and he probably ends up going for that Time Walk cast range. Like those things start to get really hard to deal with. Kunkka has a ward up here. He's going to scout out the Earthshaker. There's going to be X, Torrent, Boat. Maybe not even Boat. All right, they do throw out the Boat. It's a little bit on the later side. I don't know what that was about, but he is going to be forced to back out now. Arrow not going to connect, but they do catch him again. X, well done. Oh my god.
I think he might still be dead. Let's see if the boats can save him.
No, no way. But that would have been.
That was a great attempt.
That was pretty good.
Learned something new. I never even considered that.
About X's when you get a glimpse?
When you get a glimpse, yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, in general, X is like used usually defensively to save other people, but using it to save yourself isn't what you normally see. Alright, Bignum. Yeah, I don't know what happened there with the Kunkka and his boat. I thought that they were going to, like, I don't know. Maybe he was waiting for the Earthshaker to, like, fissure him or something, and he got faked out.
My guess is it was barely coming off cooldown. That's the best guess I got.
That's fair.
Because looking at how Chuvash has been playing, I don't really see him making these kind of mistakes. Like, if he actually had it up, there's no reason why he wouldn't throw it out immediately. So.
Yeah. All right, Yoku now moving in towards this bottom lane with a couple of friends as well. It's going to be Kunkka placing down some deep wards. Radiant do not have any vision of this side of the map right now, and instead they're going to be moving in towards Roshan, but it hasn't respawned yet. Radiant's kind of long respawn timer. So that is a bit of an issue, and not to mention going for Rosh against this lineup is just scary in its own right.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That smoke was not scouted. They see that the Nyx Assassin just went for Vendetta, though. Do they have any wards? They have one right over here by the front. Now, a second sentry ward placed down, and that will stop the Nyx Assassin from moving any further forward. Arc, walking up, gets the bounty rune. They could go for an Impale here. Impale's going to connect. The jump out, turn it back around. The Torrent to turn it, though. Can they make it happen? He is so tanky, but not tanky enough. And now the Black Hole. They layer it down all on top of him perfectly. My God, feasting on the souls. But they do end up taking down both the Enigma.
Might get the X.
And the Face Void. X. Little sketchy there, but they will pull back, always want to fly. He needed the Torrent to get the vision, which is why it looked a little sketchy, but they needed to do it that way.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I don't know, though. What do you think?
That was an absolute bloodbath. I think it was a pretty good trade for Gambit. They are behind, so getting 2 kills in exchange for 3 is not the worst. They did also manage to get the Black Hole out as well as the boat. Boat, not so much, but Black Hole being down is a pretty big deal. But there is still a Chronosphere, so that's one thing they have to be careful about.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that even if they win a fight, it's never like completely clean. Gambit always have to give something up because there's so many different like team fight spells here.
I mean, the other thing too you have to remember is that there are 3 melee heroes, right? That's probably one of the main reasons why there's so many trades going on, because you can't really... Oh, big stun, it's a double stun.
Arrows coming in though, they're trying to turn this. They have the Shrine, it's not going to be enough, but they do get the Ice Blast out yet again. Cheshire Cat going to drop because of this. They pull back 1 with the Torrent, that's BZZ. He doesn't have a leap right now, but the boat's going to end up going out. They throw out the Static Storm. Gambit have been playing this just about as perfectly as they can, and they're going to be rewarded with Roshan.
This is almost entirely on Bignum. I think Bignum is doing a great job on this Nyx Assassin. He's just constantly giving the his team the information that they need, and Spartak are pretty much single-handedly losing to his Nyx. Like they needed something to deal with this Nyx assassin. Maybe someone has to invest in a gem at this point, because that's how problematic he is.
Immortality.
Yeah. Well, and if they had that vision of him right there at the beginning, you know, that fight looks completely different. They probably just blow him up at the start of it, but yeah, not having the vision that they need.
A gift from the Tempest.
They just chain stunned the Void, and that's another fight won where Void just unable to cast a single spell. And this was actually something we discussed in the draft, right? You can't only look at the Chronosphere, because these things or these types of plays will happen.
Yeah. Well, it makes me wonder if maybe even the like Black Hole, or rather Enigma, was like the proper pick, because the big problem that I feel like they're having is vision, and that's not something that Enigma gives you a ton of. Maybe like a Beastmaster or a Clockwork or something like that might have, instead of like doubling down on what they already had, trying to get like a different, you know, utility from their offlane hero. I guess it's been working out okay though.
I think the pick is fine. It's just that they have to be mindful of their cooldown timing, right? I think that Gambit is doing a better job at that.
Yeah.
Just like keeping in mind, you know, there's no black hole. Let's go make a pick-off happen, right? Because then at that point, it's just a Chronosphere, and what do you know? We found the Void. Let's keep them pinned down, and then it's a very easy team fight from then on. Because there's no black hole.
Top tower is under attack.
So as long as they play carefully around their cooldowns, I think that Spartak should be fine. But after they lost that pretty big engagement, the Void has slowed down a lot in farm, and Gambit have managed to pick up some more items, at least enough to the point where Sniper, I would say he has enough to do damage in these team fights.
Look at this. They're baiting out Misha. They're trying to wait for it, but it's not actually going to happen. And now Kunkka, able to catch an X. He's caught himself an Ursa. Torrent, there's the Urn as well. The arrow's going to connect. It's a little bit scary. Malefic's down as well. He might end up dying to this one. Another X. And Aegis down. Now, do they have a round two?
They have the chrono for this.
That is not where that one goes. That is not the play, mister. Ice Blast is going to go down. They end up being able to connect onto two, but that was not the way that X marks the spot works. And now Ursa going to die.
Though. It's still going to work out for them.
Echo Slam! Maybe not. Oh, no. No, no, no. That does not disjoint anymore either. Oh, anti-dodge. Nice, well played. 2 HP with the rum buff wearing off. And somehow, someway, they're going to end up being able to salvage this. But still, it's a ton of damage. X marks the spot back onto Bignum. They throw out the fissure. Going to be able to pull back in the Kunkka, and another kill. My God.
That black hole, it's not the same as, you know, I think he thought of it as a, you know how when people get astral imprisoned by OD, and then it's like they astral themselves off of an X or off a glimpse.
Yeah.
That's how that would work. But he was dead, so the X doesn't even matter at that point. So, oh, man, that black hole, that really hurts.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, as soon as that happened, like, I had the same thought in my head. I was like, how does this work? Is he going to come back right there? Is he going to come back in the other spot? And Enigma, you can understand in like a moment of panic, wanting to make sure you make the right play. He ends up making the wrong decision, and, well, they get punished for it and lose out on a big team fight.
So here's the thing, right? I honestly think that in that position, I don't even think you go for the black hole play to begin with.
Yeah.
Because your black hole, in my opinion, is more valuable than a Chronosphere.
Right.
Because of the fact that you have a BKB, like, what is it? There's absolutely nothing anyone can do, right, if you have a BKB. So since you have a BKB and a black hole, you should let the Void Chronosphere on the body instead of you black holing, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what I think. Oh, they find Cheshire attack, but...
Oh, good jump away. Ice Blast going to go in, not going to connect. And arrow. Almost.
Chronosphere, though.
They have it if they want to go, but...
I feel like he should have just did it.
He's going to walk back in, though. They have Bignum now. There we go. That's the play, but now they got him as well. They're going to be able to catch two. Nicely done. Marana also throwing her damage into us. It's not actually going to be enough to bring him down as of yet. Now they're going to also be able to jump in with the Ursa up on the high ground. Cheshire Cat's found him. The arrow connects onto the Disruptor, and they're hitting him from the low ground. Oh, Ursa ends up making his payday. 12 HP, black hole down, only connects onto 1.
Oh, this is disaster.
Oh, God, they are not doing nearly enough right now. They will kill off that Ursa. It's a triple kill for BZZ, but that's, again, 2 big ultimates down, and it just never feels clean.
Well, they did manage to get 3 kills.
Yeah.
So numbers-wise, that was favorable for Spartak, but it could have been so much better. Like, Void, I think he played a little too greedily there. He wanted to make sure that he was able to kill off the Earthshaker before he jumped down. But from the low ground, Ursa bashed him and killed him before he could do that. Like,
yeah.
That downhill attack looked really silly, but unfortunately for him, that luck was not on his side.
And I mean, that's the thing, is the initiations and the spell usage has not been like the best from Spartak this game. I don't think that I'm gonna shock anybody by saying that, but they just have so many different ways to take the fight that it almost doesn't matter. Oh God, what is happening in this game? All right, that was a good blink or jump away by Arc. I don't think that he might have walked within vision for a second, but it didn't end up happening.
Ooh, bounty.
Yeah, you can't blame Cheshire Cat for that. You see the opportunity, you go. If you miss it, I mean, things can happen in a split second.
Yeah. All right.
Do happen sometimes.
They're going to be able to get on the Ursa here. The X into arrow, very nice. They'll have another X now as well, and they'll take him down.
Double damage on Mirana.
For a second there, I thought I saw Yoku about to do the black hole animation again, but he was summoning Eidolons. We're good. We're good.
He doesn't even have it off cooldown, so
yeah.
don't worry.
All right.
Oh, smoke up. Oh, this is some tricky stuff here.
Tower is under attack.
They don't want to hide. They did want to hide their initiation here.
We do have X still, obviously, and a boat to boot. Faceless Void is there with Chronosphere if they want to use it, but it's going to be a tier 3 tower just about taken. Cheshire Cat not able to block him on this side of the fissure. Jump away. Arrow out, not going to connect. Now the X. They also have the Torrent follow-up if they want to use it, but just going to hold on for the moment and take that tier 3 tower. Now the second smoke. Oh my God, are they doing it again?
I like this. This is.
Oh my God, they want him. I think it's like you're talking about though, it's probably better to go for the chrono instead of the black hole.
Allies disappear.
Here we go. Wait. What's gonna happen here? Where do they have vision?
All right, Nyx, he is wrapping around, but they're still inside of there.
Are they gonna smoke?
Arc! He's walking in, he wants it real bad.
Oh my goodness.
He's gonna hit onto 4, the Ice Blast follow-up. Pretty as a picture, and they are all going to drop. All it takes is 1, baby.
Back it up.
They've
done it. They've done it. I'm surprised they let Cheshire Cat run away, though. They didn't kill him.
I mean, it's happened still. And, you know.
Oh, they're going to get one more. Big Numb gets caught out here. Yeah, he's going to go down. No way he lives through this. And they are right outside the base. 2 more buybacks. Might be able to hold. Might not be.
They're still walking
forward.
Has I mean, the thing is they actually don't have Black Hole or Chronosphere right now.
That is true.
They need to get out.
They have Echo. Yeah, you're right, you're right. But that is an enormous victory. Triple buyback.
Tower is under attack.
And yeah, they're out. They can go for the shrines if they want to. And then they can also wait for the Roshan. Oh man.
Yeah.
This game.
That's the thing, is like, at the end of the day, there were some really questionable spell usage in this game, but the lineup is just so easy to execute, like what you need to do, that it doesn't even end up mattering if you miss a couple of them, because all it takes is 1, and suddenly look at the drop in net worth. I mean, this hasn't caught up yet. It's 7,000, so we're like way down here on the graph, and then the experience, I'm sure, is around the same place. Like, they are in a great place right now.
Yeah, definitely. Although I have to argue that I would not say this is an easy draft to execute.
For Spartak?
For Spartak, yeah. Just because you have a ton of abilities to cast, this isn't like easy as in what is an even easier one? When I think of easy, I think of like Ravage. Yes, a Ravage global. That's one is easy.
Yeah.
This not so much, right? Chrono can always go wrong. Black Hole, a lot of things can always go wrong. And these are like the only two that are pretty much instant. Everything else has to follow up afterwards. So when you look at this lineup, it's more of a Chrono Black Hole type of lineup.
Okay.
And that is never an easy time.
Fair enough.
It's not a Ravage.
I'm with you. The other thing to keep in mind right here is that we also do have an Aghanim Scepter on Disruptor. That was picked up recently. So that might be something that catches these guys off guard in the next team fight. And we've seen that Ursa can blow these people up.
Ursa's still chilling with his brown boots.
He's looking for it. He's thinking about it. Oh, Nyx Assassin. He's just sitting on top of him. All right, there it is. That's the initiation. Oh, they back out just in time. They're still invis for the moment. X marks the spot. They're all going to walk into it together. The Static Storm. Can they get it? He ends up getting revealed right there. And no, he's not going to get him. They walked outside of it. The jump away. The Echo Slam barely. Chrono's there to turn him out. They chronoed the Enigma. He's going to end up dropping there.
Oh, but he's fine.
BKB Black Hole. No, he's just going to walk away. And now Cheshire Cat trying to take him down. They do find that kill. Just all hell is breaking loose. No rhyme or reason to any of it. And somehow, with heads bashing against the keyboards, Spartak end up on top.
Middle tower is under attack.
Oh man, that would have been a full team wipe, but unfortunate for Arc, no bashes and like 5 hits. That's pretty unlucky.
Middle tower has fallen.
All right.
This time, no buybacks. We are going to see at least 2 sets here.
Radiant's bottom
I do not think Cheshire Cat can do much about this one.
And I have to say, like, you know, we're sort of making jokes here and there, but it's also like you have to like spread out so quickly, and the team fights become so chaotic when it's these big ultis that, like, you know, I think it's completely understandable the chaos that's ensued from this game. It's not really a question of player skill. It's more about just the way that this game runs. It's like, it's just insanity.
Yeah, definitely.
Radiant's middle barracks
It's always, that's the kind of the thing about Dota. It's so hard for you. Positioning is everything, and I think positioning is what makes, you know, a player. To be honest, I think like, oh dude, this Kunkka just came back with 2 items of Vlad's and a Glimmer Cape.
Yeah, they got some money. All right.
Okay, no, it's AAs. That's why I was like, what? Kunkka got like 4,000 gold from that.
I mean, they did get a lot of gold. You can see the drop off here. That is the Chronosphere Black Hole right there. Oh, and they want to go in again. It's understandable. They need to make a big play, but it's going to be tough.
Spartak, very carefully, not going to make any risks.
Roshan just going for a little walk. Oh, the wraparound. The classic.
This is the final one. This is the final one right here.
The classic fight by the shrine. Bignum, he's going to find himself an arc. Jump forward, Echo Slam onto 1. They have the follow-up if they want it. Ice Blast is down, Static Storm as well, but they already got the BKB off. That's going to mean that they're all going to end up dropping more than enough damage here. Black Hole as well onto the Sniper. There is no salvation. Chronosphere and Celebration. And it's going to be Spartak who move on with Gambit getting knocked out.
Virtus Pro victory.
Oh, what a series that was. Very up and down.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, final tally for damage and everything else. Looks like Murano was the big winner in that one. Man. Good game, though. Good series. And that's going to do it for us today. Steven, thoughts about our winners, Spartak, going forward?
I think they're pretty good, but I think they somewhat lack communication issues. Sometimes it feels like they're a little... it feels like they play away from each other a little too much. So I think, like, individual skill-wise, I think they're definitely up there. Chuvash is a very, very good support from what I've seen. He's always very high impact for roamer, and Yoku always performing on the off lane. He always gets his farm up, always manages to semi-carry from the off lane.
Yeah.
So definitely a solid team altogether. Just got to work on meshing a bit together. And I think, like, overall this game, you know, we mentioned it a couple times, it looked kind of clowny, but I feel like this lineup from both teams, it's so hard to position against because on one end, you don't want to group up against each other, but on the other end, you can never spread away too far from each other. Otherwise, you run into the issue where someone gets glimpsed and then you can't do anything about it, or someone gets X'd and you can't do anything about it. So you kind of have to sit on that middle ground, which is extremely difficult to do in a game like this.
Yeah. No, and that's the problem. And I hope we get to see more games like it, because it's always fun to see like big team fights and those ultimates that come out. It's it's the ultimate abilities. They're the best ones to watch. That's how it works. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Game number 2, or rather best of 3 number 2 is finished for today. So that means tomorrow we're going to see Team Empire face off against M19, and Spartak are going to continue on to face off against Vega Squadron. I think they got a decent chance against Vega. Vega has had some time to work out their issues. They've had 2 days to think about things since Team Spirit was able to take them down yesterday. And then our battle is going to continue the day after that with the winner of those 2 series facing off against each other. And the second game of the day and the first game of the day after tomorrow is going to be Spirit versus Na'Vi. So a lot of great stuff coming up. I can't wait to watch all the Dota 2 that's coming. It's going to be a best of 3 grand finals. South American Dota is continuing on as well. And then next week, it's also going to be a continuation with Europe, North America, and China. So just so much Dota. And, you talk about teams needing to build more consistency. This is how you do it. Playing 1 million billion qualifiers. And there's going to be tons of them for everybody to play in.
Yeah, exciting stuff. I kind of wish I had a team to play with all these qualifiers going on. I actually do miss playing competitive Dota, even if hasn't been very successful.
You should do it, man.
I can't find 4 players who would want to play with me.
All right, well, we'll work on that. We got to get you vouched into the FPL, man. The famed Aosin only plays Ancient Apparition. It'll be great.
Dude, I don't even play that hero.
You got to learn now. Actually, Dueling Fates update. It's coming out pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. So now's your time to learn Puss in Boots.
Whoa! You can't just drop information like that and get everyone's hopes up. We need some proof.
I don't have any proof at all. There is no proof that this is happening. I'm making things up, as a matter of fact, but I would imagine that there's probably going to be a patch before the minors start, and the minors start pretty soon. It's mainly like I think that just it kind of makes sense that it would happen soon. But that's not what people came here to talk about. They can go to Reddit and talk about that, which I'm sure people already are. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Aosin and I will be back for more from the CIS qualifiers. Would you care to do a quick little sellout, my man?
Just be sure to follow me on Twitter, Aosin Dota, as well as Twitch, Aosin Trash, and that's about it from me.
Are you going to go stream right now?
No. Obviously not. I'm gonna go play Path of Exile. I need a break.
All right, fair enough. All right, everybody, have yourselves a good day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.